let's set the stage. Pandemic, lockdowns, etc. And prior to the pandemic even starting, there were these victims of eggs being thrown at them, and they were just popping up randomly in different Facebook groups and no one connecting the dots. They were very good shots. They had amazing accuracy. Their eggs were very fast, very dangerous. So they knew what they were doing, and they were well practiced. This had been going on for more than a year, and now we're into 2021, and June rolls around. And then I get a DM from one of our members on True West Loop, which is a neighborhood group I admin. And he notices broken eggs and also links this white truck with red graffiti to these eggs. And it turns out that folks from other neighborhoods, they mentioned that other neighborhood groups had also been reporting people getting hit by eggs. So this had been going on now for close to 2 years before we got involved. So, throwing eggs is something that typically happens around Halloween. It's sort of mischievous, dismissed. It's what harm could possibly come from it? When you take a look at an egg itself, they can actually cause quite a lot of damage. That whole saying of, it's all fun and games until someone loses their eye, etc. And then it gets serious. So I encourage this man to create a post on True West Loop. So rather than keeping it in the direct messages, to just post it, see what happens. And he puts it out there, and that starts attracting even more attention. And it just starts to build and build. And then there's a mention on Reddit. Someone got hit by an egg on Reddit, and people start talking about their experiences. So then I start realizing that Chicago, being a city of 77 neighborhoods and many more Facebook groups for those neighborhoods, that all this information is sitting in silos, right? It's all separated and no one's connecting the dots. So after seeing this, I figure, you know what? Let's put up a repository for all the data. We'll call it Chicago Egg Hunters. I set up a quick Facebook group. It takes a few minutes. I put together a Google form so that people could report their incidents, the location, etc. And then I created a Google map that connected to that form. So as we got inputs, we would get these eggs mapped, if you will, and we could see where these incidents were occurring. And I put that out into the world. And to my surprise, the reports started flooding in. We had more than 130 reports. Some called them the Yoker, some called them the North Side Scrambler, right? This was, almost a game, it seemed. And they're going back as far as 2 years. And what we're seeing on the map as things are being plotted, there is a pattern, a very distinct pattern. Most of these hits are occurring on the north side. They seem to follow some major streets. And if you take a look at the date and time, like we asked people to report the direction of movement of the truck, we could plot out and figure out where the truck was at the earliest point in the day and where it was at the latest point in the day. And that basically was the clue that gave them away. So by figuring out their earliest position and their latest position, we were able to figure out where they parked their truck. And once we knew where they parked their truck, we could validate that that was the truck that everyone was after. It was a big white box truck, and it had very distinctive red graffiti on it. Initially, we thought the truck was a food distributor. We figured, they probably had extra eggs at the end of the day and they were just tossing them, getting rid of them. They kept on appearing over and over in different videos that were sent to us and pictures, etc. And everyone had this image of this truck. And now we've located this truck in a parking lot on the south side at a Value Home Furniture. And then it all started to click that they were on delivery routes. While they originated from the far south side, they didn't start tossing eggs until they crossed the river, for the most part. So no one really knew what their motivation was. And initially, we thought they were targeting women, but they were going after anyone. They even tossed eggs at a kid in a stroller. And now that we knew where they were, well, I knew, I hadn't shared that news because the group that we had started, the Chicago Egg Hunters on Facebook, where all this information was gathering. Now we had folks from all these different social media platforms coming together. So what I call different tribes. So we had the Reddit tribe and the Facebook tribe and the Insta tribe and all these different tribes together. And they have very different ways of interacting. And then there was a call for blood. We have to get them. We have to arrest them, etc. So I had to dissipate the hate, basically put a clamp on it, quickly prune out anyone calling for violence or inciting hate, was removed from the group. And then we started to focus on, okay, what are we going to do as next steps? We weren't looking to put people in jail or punish people. It was basically just create an environment where the behavior stopped. We released enough clues that our members were able to figure out who the company was and make contact with them. And then they came out with a quick statement denying that they knew anything about it and saying that the driver would be terminated. So at that point, we figured we had created that environment. We monitored the reports. They tapered off after a few months when we knew that we had our man. I ended it at that point in time. So that wrapped it up. It was a quick little adventure. Made it all the way to Saturday Night Live. There was a great little skit that mentioned eggs being thrown at the time when there were a lot of shootings in Chicago, making CPD look bad. And I thought it was really sort of a milestone moment for the group. Occasionally I get a text or something, people telling me, like someone's been egged, and it's going to happen randomly anyway. It'll never come to a complete stop. But for a short while, a lot of Chicago was united.
Next week in Portage Park, a dreamer goes on a metaphysical mission.
I don't know if this is for me. This feels a little weird.
From Superphonic Studios, this is Chicago. Listen every Sunday.